What's going on, guys? My name's Matt. I'm going to be helping you automate your fitness business. Today, we're going to go through on how to build reporting into your GoHighLevel instance so that you can track sales metrics, you can track lead volume, you can track conversion, you can track even clients, like active client information. But I'm going to show you how to build it into GoHighLevel. There's three things we're going to be using today. Obviously, GoHighLevel. We're going to also use Google Sheets, and we're going to be using Google Looker Studio. Now, if you haven't used Google Looker Studio before, it can be a little bit complicated, but I'm going to do my best to really keep it simple for us. So what I'm going to start off by doing is just showing you how to, track data in a way that can actually be visualized. So put into a dashboard. So first thing we need to do is create a new Google Sheet. So this one I'm just going to be calling tracking. Oops, we're going to call it tracking information info. And then we're just going to say sales, because I'm going to use sales as an example today. It's a really easy one to set up, especially if you're wanting to track your metrics. So like if you close a client, if you don't, whatever. So a couple of things we're going to need in this sales, we're going to need like an active client log. So clients who have come in, what status they're at, and have they paid, have they not paid, whatever. So let's just get into this. So first one is going to be name. We're going to go with email for number 2. And then we're going to say date started, and then we're going to say paid ? And we're just going to start with a status as well. So status is like if they're currently a client, if they've previously been a client, or if they're on pause. So what with these fields, you can kind of customize them to what is specific for your business. However, this one is pretty common for businesses to want to track this kind of information. Now, whenever I do a spreadsheet, I do have a force of habit of just cleaning it up, so it's really simple. But what we need to do is essentially start populating this information during the sales process, right? So if you think about it, you'll start tracking this when someone essentially becomes a client. So you could do it a step before if you were tracking leads, like all the leads coming through, like did they close, or did they become a client, or something like that. Which we might just add that in now anyway. So we'll do it from the start. So it will be more valuable to more people. Closed, cool. So what we'll do is just move closed to in front of paid, and we'll be able to get started with this. So what we are going to do is go into GoHighLevel, and we're going to go into automation. Now, I'm going to assume that you already have a couple of automations built, especially when it comes to bringing in clients, manipulating them when you do have a sales call or whatever, and then updating that post-sales call. So if you don't have something like that, you should probably have a couple of different elements in your workflow, but I'll probably just build that out really quickly as well. So if you want to fast forward this bit, if you've already got it, then feel free to do so. But if you need to build this as well, feel free to stick around. So the first thing that we're going to do is when an appointment is made. So in this situation, we're going to qualify a lead as a booked appointment. So we're going to go booked appointment, and our trigger is going to be customer booked appointment. Hopefully I've got a calendar in here because it's just a test account. Well, I do not. Okay, cool. So I'm going to change this to just tag added. So instead of customer booked appointment, let's just, why isn't it letting me change this? Tag added. Here we go. Contact tag added, booked appointment. So this is just for the sake of the video. Obviously you would run this from your actual booked appointment sequence, but I just want to show you how we can get it started. So contact tag, and then we're going to need to put in a Google Sheet step. So Google Sheets is a premium feature on GoHighLevel workflows. It costs you a small amount of money to run per run, but it's really worth it in terms of the value you get out of it. So booked appointment, this is the first time this person is become a part of our lead flow, our sales flow. So we're going to create a spreadsheet row, and it's going to be just in my testing account here. So in my drive, it's always going to be my drive, and then the spreadsheet is going to be called tracking info. Should have it in here. Info, yeah, here we go, tracking info sales. And then the worksheet is just going to be sheet 1. You can rename this to be like sales/leads, right? And when they're in here, worksheet is going to be 1 anyway. We'll just refresh the headers. Sheet 1, cool. And our starting column is going to be obviously name, and our ending column is going to be status. So for some reason, GoHighLevel makes you select that information, which is, it is what it is, but let's just jump in and do that. So our starting column is name, our ending column is status, right? So what we are going to put in for name is obviously the contact's full name, and then obviously contact's email. So clicking on this little tag here allows us to put it in. Now, dates started is I'm reserving that from when they actually make the sale. So the date, like date sold. So we'll leave that for the time being. Close, we're going to leave for the time being as well because the sales call hasn't been done. Paid and status is going to stay the same. So we're just going to save this for the minute. I'm going to run a test contact on just a Matthew Lambourne email that I have. And if we just wait for that, it'll come up with my info here. So now we've got our what's it called? Black, there we go. We've got our person, we've got an email address, and we've got empty fields, right? So the next step of this is adding tracking into when they've actually had the sales call. So the next workflow we need is basically a result workflow. So the way that you're most of the time going to have this tracked is in your pipeline, you're going to have multiple different options when someone has a sales call with you. They're either going to close, they're going to no-show, they're going to say no, or they're going to, no, that's pretty much it. No-show, close, or no sale, right? So in this situation, we've got no sale, but we're going to need, 2 more kind of statuses. So if we go into pipelines and then edit this pipeline, and we'll go no-show, and contract signed, we're just going to say closed, right? So that's our successful and 2 unsuccessful stages in our pipeline. So when someone enters contract signed, closed, we're obviously going to update date started, closed, and paid, and status to active. However, if they're no sale, it's going to go, we're going to leave date started empty. We're going to say no to closed and no to paid and inactive for our status. So, and then obviously no show is going to be different because it's going to say no date started, not closed, not paid, and status is just no show, right? So what we are going to do now is quickly build these automations to manipulate that data when the pipeline does change. So if we have it in here, lead management, cool. And then we are going to start from scratch. And our workflow trigger, this one is going to be close deal. So the workflow trigger is going to be pipeline stage changed, and it's going to be the contract signed one. So in pipeline sales, then we add a filter. Pipeline stage is contract signed, closed, right? So we're just going to save that and save. And then what we're going to do in here is go Google Sheets. Now we need to look up the information of the person that we already created the data of in the previous step in order to be able to update that cell. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go look up spreadsheet. And then after that, we're going to use update spreadsheet row using lookup. So it's a little bit confusing, but we'll get there in a second. So we're going to just put in the same data as before. So tracking info should come up, sales, select a worksheet, and then we're going to go sales and leads, and we're going to search from the top of the sheet. Doesn't really matter. If you've got a bunch of rows, then like thousands of rows, you probably go search from the bottom of the sheet. The column we're going to look up is email, because email is the least likely that it's going to change. Sometimes people change their names or whatever in like they use a nickname when they apply for things, and then it changes, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so we're just going to go email, and we're just going to press save action. So if we just hit save again, and we will need to put in the next step. So let's just test this step individually. So if we just press cancel, should let us test it. No, we can't. All right, that's fine. We'll just add in the next step. So Google Sheets again, and then we are going to go update spreadsheet using lookup. And when we select lookup action, it allows us to select this lookup spreadsheet row result from previously. So we don't actually need to test it to get this like some automation platforms, but this one can. We do then need to put in starting column, and then we need to put in ending column, so status. You're going to leave name, email blank. We're going to put in right now as the date. So if you go date started and then right now, and then we can just go date, where is it? Day, month, year, or month, day, year, whichever one you want to do. We can go closed, we can say yes. Paid, we can say, you can either put in the amount that they've paid, which I would do that for this situation. An easy way to do that, if you've got that a part of your pipeline opportunity already, is go into the tag and then go into opportunity, and then you can say lead value, and it'll do the amount of money that they've put in, right? So the final thing you want to do is status, is you would change that to active, right? So save, and if we test this workflow again with the same data that I used before, we should see this specific, cell update. So let's just see if it's gone through. Fantastic. We've got date started, we've got close, paid is empty because I didn't have a lead value assigned, and then active. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly ask ChatGPT for some testing data, just so I can start manipulating the data in a dashboard for you. So can I please get 10 rows of testing data for this Google Sheet? Here's the rows. Closed is either yes or no. Paid equals 3,000 always, let's just say 3,000. And status is active if closed is yes. And status could be active if closed is blank. And status could be inactive if closed is no, right? So one thing I just realized we haven't finished off is putting in our other workflows as well. So quickly start these next workflows whilst our automation is setting up from the previous one. So this is no show. Again, you would name these a lot better if you were doing this for real. So it's easier to edit your pipelines in the future and edit your automations in the future. So in pipeline sales, and our pipeline stage is no show. Save action. We're going to do the same thing from before. Now you could have just copied the previous workflow that I did and changed the variables. However, I'm just doing it from scratch, so that's fine. We're going to look up spreadsheet row. In all of our details relatively the same, and then tracking info, sales, and then worksheet sales from top of the sheet. And our lookup is going to be email again, and then I know it's just contact.email, and then we will just save that action. And then our next step is Google Sheet again, and we are also then going to look up. We're going to update using lookup. So we've got that. Starting column, name, ending column is status. And we're going to leave name and email empty, and no show for this one. So we're going to say closed is no, and we're going to say status is inactive, right? So save action. I'm not going to test this because it's going to manipulate the data that we've got in there, but I just wanted to show you what that would look like. And now if I just want to quickly duplicate this flow and run it for no sale as well, we can do that too. So we're going to go duplicate workflow, and we're going to say no sale. Get rid of copy, delete this, press create. No sale. And all we need to do in this is change the pipeline stage and also the variables that we're updating. So in pipeline stage, no sale, save, update these columns. Closed is still no, and inactive is the same technically. So what we might have in this situation is you would have like appointment status as a potential new field as well. There you can put in no show. So we've got our information now. Now we've got our example data. Let's just copy this into tracking info. So let's just bang this in here really quickly. We've got date started, we've got closed, yes, no, or blank, and we can pretty much run from this, right? So we've got a couple of active clients in here, which is great. We've got a couple of inactive as well. So now we essentially want to just start building a dashboard. So if you go into Google and just type in lookerstudio.google.com, it will allow you to build some templates. So with this one, we're going to create a blank report. We're going to start entirely from scratch. And I'm going to go through how to set this up. So it can be really confusing just straight off the jump. So pay attention and you should be okay. But what you need to do with Looker Studio is attach different data sources to it. So in this situation, we're using Google Sheets as our data source. There are many other things you can do, like upload a CSV. You can go from Google Cloud Storage, YouTube Analytics, like all this kind of stuff. There's heaps on here. It's very powerful, but with powerful tools, they usually come with a bit of a skill gap. So learning how to use that takes a bit of time. So you're going to need to authorize the account. I'll do this really quickly. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. And what we are going to do is look for our tracking info sales spreadsheet. And then we are going to make sure that these are selected, use first row as headers, and include hidden and filtered cells, doesn't really matter. And we're just going to press add. So what this can do now is it can look at the information that we have on our spreadsheet, and it will be able to be used from the actual dashboard itself. So when it comes to dashboards, as I said, there's so much you can do with this, and I just like to keep it really simple. So we're just going to delete their test thing, what's it called? And we're going to start with a couple of different things. So I'm going to start with some titles. So we're going to say active clients, and I like to make these look a little bit nicer. So it's just like not gross, and make this nice and big and just pull this across, right? What we can do then is just copy this across and shuffle things around a little bit. So active clients, and let's say lost deals. Oops. And for another one, we'll go with cash collected, right? Oops, that looks gross. Cash collected. So with Google Looker Studio, one reason that it's super powerful is because you can use the date field to filter out different periods. So if you want to look, if you've got data from across a year, but you want to see the specifics from June, you can do that. So we're going to add in a date control. So if we click on add a control and then date range control, and we put that at the top here, we can select the date range for the data that's going to be showed. So for this one here, I'm going to make it a bit bigger as well, so it's easier to see. And we can then select, June or January 1st to June 30, right? So the first half of the year, right? So for active clients, what we're going to do now is we're going to add in some data. So what we need to do is add a chart. Now, I use scorecards for pretty much all of these. I use some line charts as well, but scorecards are very easy to use. So we're going to put in the score chart, and at the start, it's going to have the record count, and it's just not going to really give you any information at all. But if we look on the right-hand side here, we can start adjusting these variables, and we can start to get more useful data. So you can see our data sources, our tracking info sheet. Our date range dimension is the date started. So it's looked at this information and says, this is what they're going to be measuring the date on, which is important. And our metric currently is record count. So it's just going to count how many records are in here. And that's pretty much it. So if we adjust this, and we change the metric to, name. So let's bang this in here, wait for it to load, and change this to count. It should give us the number of names in there. Sometimes I forget how to use this properly, so bear with me for a second. Record count, and let's change this to, what are we doing? Okay. So if we just cancel this, I want to refresh this. So where's all time? Auto date range. Apply. What is our example dates we've got in here? So 2023 it goes back to. So obviously there's no data in there because the date range is off. So if we just go September 2022 to June 30, 2024, we've got our 10 records. Now what that's doing is counting all of those records, right? But we only want to get active clients. So anything that status contains active. Now you do need to stay consistent with your data in here. So keep it all lowercase and whatever, make sure it's nice and safe. So what we're going to do is we need to add a filter. So down the bottom here, we're going to add a filter. So we click on that. So we're going to call it active client filter. And we are going to say includes select field. So status, select a condition, contains, actually we're going to go equals to active. The reason I'm not going to use contains is because inactive would then still get registered. So in this situation, filter out any inactive records. So now we've got 7 active, and if we look at our details, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active. It's not counting the first one, so that's fine, because that date is out of our range. So looking at that here, we've got our sales data here, record count, and take a look at that. Just try and ignore the people walking past. And we are good to go. So it's showing our 7 clients. Now what you can do, you can tidy up what this data looks like, and we can just turn off a couple of things. So if we make this a bit bigger, so record, I want to get rid of record count. It's in here somewhere. Well, doesn't matter for now, but we'll just leave that. So lost deals are going to be any deal that has no on it. So very similar. We can just we can copy this. Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V if you're on a Mac, and we can then go to our filter and X that filter off and add a new filter. Create a filter. And we're going to say lost deals, and we're going to include status contains, it's going to be closed. Closed contains no. And if we press, never mind, save, and we have 3, and if we look at our data, it's 1, 2, and 3, right? So we lost those deals, but they didn't show, they're the ones who showed up. So we could then check and look at no-shows as well. So the final one that we want to do is cash collected. So I'm going to copy and paste this again, and we're going to put it here. And what we are going to do is we're going to change metric to paid, right? And it's going to default to sum, right? So it sees it as a money column, so it's going to add it up. A currency column, not a money column. Cool. So now we've got a very basic dashboard of active clients, lost deals, and cash collected that can be adjusted based on the time frame that you've got in front of you. So this is obviously very basic, but you can build this out to be something that tracks your client retention, your sales conversion rate, your different metrics of your business that will allow you to make decisions based on that in the future. It is super helpful. I love dashboards for this specific reason. Now, when you've got your dashboard in here, you can share that with a bunch of different people. I'm pretty sure you can even embed these as well. So you can embed these into apps and whatever. You could create a custom GoHighLevel little icon down here, and you can put in like dashboard, and you can click in and you can just see it all there. The best part about this is it's all automated, meaning that you don't have to go through and update anything after it's been done. And then you'll actually use it because it's actually good data. Anyway, I know GoHighLevel has its own reporting for different parts, attribution, all that kind of stuff. I like to build my own. I can customize it. I can see the actual data as well, because sometimes GoHighLevel is a little bit inaccurate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this about reporting in the comments below, and I will see you again next time.